Colorado is a unique place. The physical beauty alone can take one's breath away. But combined with a stunning landscape is a community of smart, creative, innovative people. We have a remarkable number of highly accomplished individuals who've chosen to live here in Boulder. Whether through sports, science, technology, innovation, art, music, natural foods, Boulder seems to attract the extraordinary. The Boulder History Museum is thrilled that we've been able to capture the stories of Nobel laureates, Olympic champions, best-selling authors, world-class musicians, all who live and work right here in Boulder, Colorado. I'm sure you're going to find their stories as fascinating as I have. Welcome to Boulder Conversations with Extraordinary People.
Thank you so much for coming, regardless of the weather. And it shows me like you are really, really ready and willing to start the conversation tonight with me. So I was born in South Sudan, in a place called Kapoita. And my mom is the daughter of Chief Loki, which she's here tonight with me, Rosa. And she is a midwife by profession. I remember when growing up, my mom was always talking to me about school. She did not get a chance to go to school, but she was always talking to me about how important it is for me to get my education. So it has been in my mind throughout. Of course, just growing up in South Sudan and playing as a kid, going to school, coming back, and until one night when the fighting started. When the fighting started, there was no way for me to really think of anything, just to think about where to put my head. So it was really, really difficult. I tried to tell my mom that we need to start running, but she was like, no, it's okay, and we wait, let's see. So one day I just decided to pack, I think, 2 clothes, and my younger brother, who was like maybe 5 or so, and just ran with him, and left my mom and my family, everybody. So we just ran to look for safety. We came to a place called Torit. We lived there, and then from Torit, we went to Juba, and stayed there. My mom, my dad, I don't know where they were, back in South Sudan, in Kapoita, and my other siblings. So it was very bad. This civil war that started sometimes back in 83, it claims the life of over 2 million people. The 2 million people we are talking about is like the people counted. But we don't know those who died without people knowing. And then it displaced more than 4 million inside South Sudan and outside South Sudan. But it's just a terrible, terrible thing that happened. Children are being raped, and then boys are kidnapped. They are forced into military. And then the burning and the burning of the villages, and just like all sorrows. All the time. There is nothing good. You just think of like whether you will survive tomorrow. If you survive today, you say thank you. And it's just all the time like that. Until also, like some of the children who managed to escape, they ran into neighboring countries, Ethiopia, Uganda, Nairobi, Kenya, and then the other Western countries in West Africa countries. So it's so brutal. There's nothing for me to compare with that situation. I used to feel bad when I talk about that or when I think about it, but I realized it was a way for me to really share the problems that existed before or existed in me with people, and it gives me a sense of relief. And then I ran into the neighboring country, the Kakuma refugee camp. And of course there's nothing. Nothing. You just stay and wait from the UN to come and feed you every 2 weeks, giving you maybe 15 pounds of corn, maize, and then some beans, and that way you can now survive on those. Kids are sick, girls are being forced into marriage, and there's so much violence. There's so much bad things happening in that Kakuma refugee camp. I can't really imagine one day that I'll be able to run out of that situation. But then, of course, we made it with some other girls to Nairobi, where a nun called Sister Louise has an orphanage, whereby she takes care of orphans. There I came and I stayed with her, and she assigned me so many responsibilities. But then the whole thing for me was like, sister, how can I get away to go to school? And I asked her, let me work at your compound. And instead of paying me, you pay my tuition. And of course she did that. She helped me. I have a clip of our trailer that I want to show, and after that we'll continue.
Imagine that one day you were playing with your friends and a bunch of soldiers showed up and ordered you to leave as soon as possible, or else they would kill you. Well, that's what happened to me and a lot of kids in my village.
After walking 2 weeks, staying in the woods, I didn't know where I was heading to. I was just crying all time while in the woods because I didn't know where my mom was, and it was so difficult as a young child.
I ran from Sudan to Kenya to Kakuma to save my life, but thing is still following me. Yep.
They think when a child is an orphan, they have the right to do with that child what they want. And they would just sell these young girls off to anybody for money to go drinking and enjoy life. And that was also the problem. I only lost boys went to America and not lost girls.
Sister Louise, she is the act. She's doing it. The fact that she's not paid for anything that she does it with open heart. What she's doing is just beyond everyone.
She wants all the girls to have a better chance in life. She wants them to get an education so that they will be strong and help themselves in the future and their families.
The moment you give them hope that they may learn something, they feel like human beings. So slowly they gain self-confidence, and they have hope that they will have a better future.
This is the picture of Sister Louise, who helped us in Nairobi to do the process. Of course, when I came from Kakuma refugee camp and stayed with her, and then in 2000, the U.S. Homeland Security opened a process for the lost boys and lost girls to come to America. And then I asked sister, I said, I want to go. She said, where? I said, to America, you know. I want to go and see what I will do there, how I can rebuild my life. And she helped me through the process of doing the paperwork and following all the 5 interviews, and then do the medical checkup, and after that do a 1-week orientation course. And on our last day of this orientation course, September 11th happened. And then we were sent home. There was no way. So I went and sat with sister, and of course, it was a very tragic and sad incident. There was no way, we just have to wait, and we have to check every week to go to American Immigration Office in Nairobi to check whether our flight is out so that we can come to America. So I did not come to America until 2003 when my flight came out. And then I realized like I was destined to settle in Colorado. So I don't know where Colorado was. We sat with sister and opened the atlas. And then I said, oh, I remember I learned about Colorado, the Rocky Mountains, in my geography class. So coming to Colorado was really just a joy and happiness mixed with sadness, because I was coming, I don't know where I was going to go. I know it's America, but no one I know there and whom I'm going to meet, and it was just mixed feeling. And then, of course, after I came, I arrived at DIA, and you have to take the train, go down, and so I was like, no, wait, in Africa, you just come, take the plane, land, walk out, and take the car and go where you're going. But where am I supposed to go after this? This is Colorado. I stayed there for 2 hours, and going up and down, until I said, okay, let me go to the far end and come out there, and then go to the other far end. That's how I knew, oh, this was where I'm supposed to come out. So I came out, and I found a case worker who took me to Denver and helped me to settle in with a South Sudanese family. That family has like 6 kids. So I was like a nanny. And I took care of the kids and did everything I could, because the parents are working, and I was just like, okay, this is my destination. But I wasn't happy with the situation until I was like, okay, let me figure out. So I figured out there are some boys who came and distanced to Boulder. And then I happened to meet one of them, who later on that week invited me to come and attend a 1-year anniversary, no, 3 years or 4 years anniversary of the boys that came here first. So I went and met them at Chautauqua Park, and it was good. I loved it. It was beautiful. But of course, not to mention, I was the only girl in like 58 boys who came, and everyone wants to date me. So I was like, wait, no, that's not where I came, the reason I came to America, no. So, but then I started connecting with people in Boulder, and then visiting Boulder every week. And I started doing my paperwork, because I got some certificates in Nairobi when sister helped me to go and learn English. And then some certificates from the colleges around there. So I applied to CU, and I was accepted and moved directly to Boulder. So after some time, of course, I started thinking the other girls that I left behind. I managed to escape from South Sudan to Kakuma, and then from Kakuma to Nairobi and lived with Sister Louise. But now I'm in US. How about those who are still in Kakuma? Who is going to help them? And how are they going to get out of that situation? So I started communicating with sister. I'm like, sister, I need to do something. The situation here is good. You can help other girls to come. And then I invited her to come and see where I live. So she came. She came to Boulder and she liked my apartment and she met some of the volunteers here and she went back. So for me, this was now the journey to start mobilizing support, going around talking to people, figuring out what to do and how we can do this and raising money so that sister can send some boys to go to Kakuma camp, pick some orphan girls, bring them to Nairobi, and then she will send them to school and do the same process I did while waiting for the process, then they can go to school. So this is what I did. And sister also really just took it really well. She started doing it, and then I went and visited, and I connected with my mom, who was in Egypt. And I didn't know that she was there with my other brothers. So the process of bringing the girls started. And then, of course, with some volunteers in Boulder, we worked really hard. And in 2006, the first 6 girls arrived in Boulder. I said, what can we do? We formed committees to do like the work that we are supposed to help the girls to settle. We have committees from health, education, housing, transportation, and all. And then we realized there are some girls who have some educational gaps, like I did. So we worked on other, like putting projects down, what is the most important thing that we needed to do. Then, with the help of Rose Foundation, Youth Foundation, we got grant from them, and then we got good volunteers, and they are here tonight. She volunteered to teach the girls in her basement. We opened a classroom there. And then we realized those who needed some gaps, whether it's English, math, or science, and we just opened the classroom there, then the girls started going to school. And then some who are higher a bit, they started doing ESLs, and then some are working on like getting their GEDs. This is one of the girls, she was doing science with the homeschool. This is the classroom in the basement of Linda. She's here. Can you? Teaching the girls to bridge the gaps. She works day and night. I believe sometimes when I call her, even to say hi, she'll say, are the girls okay? Are things okay? And she's always like really just wanting the girls to do well. So we worked on this project, and the girls really did well, and some of them expressed the need of doing higher. We had some who finished the homeschooling, and they started doing GEDs. This is also still the classroom at the basement. We were visited by one of our lost boys, Lomong, who came and visited the girls. And then, of course, those who were strong, they could go to high school right away. So this is Pauline. She finishes from Boulder High. With those who were doing the homeschooling, we realized like some of them expressed the need of doing like higher classes. So Linda, with some volunteers, designed another curriculum. It's called Pre-NA. The 2 girls graduated from Front Range. They did their GEDs. And then these girls who expressed the need to do CNAs, Linda designed a curriculum to teach them at YWCA to start preparing them in advance before they could go to real school and get their certificates there. So after intensive teaching, they did the test, they passed. And then we sent them to Rose Nursing School in Denver. They went and did their CNAs. They all passed. And this is their graduation date. And they came back and started looking for jobs. They work at nursing homes here in Boulder. And then we have some who are doing the real nursing school right now. We have some who expressed to do LPN. And then we have some who went to CU. 6 girls went to CU. And then the 7 girls who finished the CNAs started working and helping their people back in the Kakuma. Some of them connected with their families, and they went back to visit these family members. And they're sponsoring their siblings. Some of them even graduating right now from high school, which is really good. And then those who made it to CU, they graduated. This was this year in May. And we have also one who is currently also studying for her master's. And also one of the good news, one of the girls is right now interning at White House. So I've just realized, like, whenever you extended a helping hand, that hand can also extend. And then it will just go all over like this, and then when you clap together, that's the results. And of course, I did not do all this work by myself. I have a lot of good volunteers who are really thinking day and night how to help these girls to do well. And we have a strong board members who are also doing their best to raise funds to be able to send these girls to go to school and do well in their jobs, and then see them pursue their dreams. Of course, with our projects here in Boulder, girls are graduating, they are getting jobs, and so I was like, what next? We need to help those who are back still in South Sudan. What can we do? So I started communicating with people back there, and then I went to South Sudan, talked to our politicians and the community, their youth leaders and women and the chiefs, and asked them, we need a land. We need a place to build a school. So the community there welcomed the idea, and they gave us a land. It's 1,200 acres. We are working on raising funds to go down to South Sudan and start build that school so that we can help those who are still there, and some who were not able to get the chance to come to America, and some who were not able to get the chance to go to Kenya to run there. They were back in South Sudan. So we need to take this project and just go and help them there. We have volunteers down there and here who are willing to support and go and teach. This is the community members that I met, the chief, the women leaders, youth, and a director for one of the nonprofits in South Sudan. So they helped me to go there and then to see where the land was allocated. And then we put our signpost. And right now I'm working on raising money to go and build this school. I have some of the girls who graduated. They are willing and ready to go down there and help. They start teaching, work in the school, and we have some who are willing to go and train women, computer, and all the projects, the vocational training the women there need. I also took a chance of being there to visit one of the schools in the capital, Juba, and this is the classroom. It's really, really crowded. 110 students in the classroom. They were sweating. It's so hot. With rainy season, the classrooms are not really good. And this is what happened. Whenever there's rain and winds. So I thought, like, maybe I can learn something from this. Instead of building it the same way they did, maybe I can modernize it and build it in another way, whereby it can sustain the rain, can stand for all the natural disasters. And this is from outside the classroom. So I came to realize, like, these girls are the future of South Sudan. When we go back tomorrow, we'll be the engines of change in South Sudan. And of course, we also welcome those who can come and help. But we need to be the engines because we know the language, we know the culture, we know the people, the environment, and the system. So it's always good to do something, to show somebody how to fish instead of giving the fish. And the only thing for us to liberate ourselves as South Sudanese women is education. And still, we are just needing support, if people can give support. At this time, we are raising funds to build a school in South Sudan. So before I go to my last slide, I would want to recognize some of the board members, CISO board members and volunteers who are here tonight. I have Mom Mickey, we call her Mom Mickey. She's Michelle Ritter. I have Janet Taffet. She's one of the point persons. I have Linda Short, the volunteer and the teacher. I have Wendy Dina, one of the volunteers. I have Omunu Abalu, my husband. My mom, Rosa. Michael Ritter, Dad. I have Ann Cooper. I have two of our volunteers who are also members with you here, Libby and Dennis. I have Sarah, one of Education Committee. So maybe I forgot somebody who came later, but forgive me for that. In conclusion, I just want to say thank you so much for giving me the chance to share with you this brief life story and what the amazing American people can do together with us, the South Sudanese, to really build the community in Boulder. And then I would like to end with the quote from Nelson Mandela that says, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So thank you so much. And of course, my son, Loyo, Boulder native. Yeah, and Catherine Keller, one of my best friends in Boulder. Now I can welcome questions. It's true there is conflict going right now. And 3 weeks ago, my hometown was burned. And it was in the newspapers. I did not get the chance to get that clip. But then the fighting right now is concentrated on the northern side of South Sudan. And in the southern part, where the school is going to be, it's a bit peaceful, but we can't go right now because we are following the warning that the government put on their website, U.S. State Department. So we can't go Until when the warning is down and situation is calm, we will go. But this will be also the chance to start just to keep on raising more money while we are monitoring the situation in South Sudan. I have a telephone call last week. The chief that I went and met, he's like, I have a couple of volunteers who came and were asking about the project. When is it going to start? They are ready to start teaching the kids under the tree, if it will take some time for school to be built. So they are ready. They just want an okay. So that's just like the situation right now. But as soon as things settle down, we'll be able to go down there. There's a peace talk going now in Addis Ababa, and I believe good results will come out of that. Yeah, we hope. It took like almost 2 years. Then my mom came in the last convoy that came, and we actually lost some family in that convoy because the car, I think stepped into a landmine. And my mom came and we stayed in Juba. But then when the fighting also started in Juba, we ran to Khartoum and we left her in Juba. Then she came sometimes to Khartoum and went back to Juba, and also I came back to Juba. So it was just movement all the time. You never settle in one place. Whenever there is fighting here, you run to where it's safe. And then we separated. And it took us 15 years, almost 15 years to reunite with her when I went and met her in Egypt. And my brother, who was, I think, maybe 7 or so, I did not recognize him. They came to the airport to welcome me, and then I asked, where is Philip? And the person with him was like, oh, this is Philip, and he started crying. He was tall and really a big man. So, and then when I went and saw my mom, I was in tears, because when I left her, she was not looking like that. Yeah, and then I did the reunion process. Then I brought them over, and she came in 2006, right after the 6 girls arrived. So we at least have part of the family here and part of the family in South Sudan. And right now in Boulder, I have my sister, and Philip, my brother, and my mom, and then some cousins. Yeah. Yes, there are still a lot of people, especially with the fighting that started last year. The population of Kakuma expanded now, but then the U.S. Immigration Department cannot allow boys and girls to come to America because South Sudan is considered to be in peace, and it's difficult to bring people unless if you're doing family reunion or you have an existing case. We just received a family a year ago in Boulder, family size 8. They started their process in 2005, but it took them more than 6-7 years to come. So it's not easy now for refugees to come from Kakuma to America. The only thing the American government and the UN encourages, like they do vocational training and then they go back to South Sudan. And that's what also Sister Louise is doing right now. Here in Boulder, I took loan, and then I was also fortunate enough to have sometimes high GPA and get some scholarship. But then mostly is loan, like for the program that I finished in May is mostly loans. So, and of course it's not easy, but then I have really, really dedicated and strong people by my side. That's why I managed to finish it. It took me long, but at the end I got it. I believe there's other nuns, because she has to go through the convent, I think, hierarchy. She's, I think, maybe right now training 2 sisters who will be taking over. And they are the ones right now helping her. She got back from Germany 4 weeks ago. She was not feeling well, so she went for treatment there. And I was so worried. But I spoke to her on the phone. Her voice sounded to be good. And she told me, Micklina, I'm okay, don't worry. If there is anything bad, I'll have other people call you right away. Right now, I don't know exactly the number, but it used to be big, like almost up to 200 something. Women, girls, boys, and children. But now she has more AIDS orphans from Kenyans. Yeah, and the UN is also bringing kids to her because there is no one who can do the job she's doing in Nairobi right now. So the UN is bringing other kids that they get to her compound. We projected 500,000, and then right now we raised 130,000. Yeah, 130. I see myself being in South Sudan because that's where I will be needed the most. I'm fortunate my mom is here. She will take care of the kids. And then I will mostly be there to run the project so that with the little education I got here, I can go and apply it down there and do the right things of communicating back, accounting for the money raised, take pictures, and then welcoming volunteers who are going there, overseeing the project. So I will be in South Sudan, but I will come maybe once in a while to see the kids and go back. Yeah. It wasn't one hand, it's 2 hands clapping. Me and the South Sudanese and the American volunteers, so we clap together, and that's the logo of CISA. We communicated to the UN in Juba through connections from community here. The director was willing to partner with us and help. But right now, they are busy helping the displaced people. And it's so difficult to start maybe spreading their arms around and do other things. But we are hoping as soon as the peace talks is signed, things will start work well. We are crossing our fingers too. Thank you.
Whew, I don't know if I can do this. I am so humbled. What you have been through and what you have accomplished, Micklina, is just truly extraordinary. And those of us who, many of us in this room that were born in the United States have no idea what you have accomplished and what you've had to go through to get to where you are. And it is so truly extraordinary and so honorable. Thank you so much for sharing that story with us, and I hope that, I think all of us want to support your efforts and to help your school succeed. So let's give her another round of applause.
I forgot to say the small video we watch, the trailer, is one of our projects that we are working on. And also when we realized we came here, everything was okay, so we don't want to forget where we came from, and we wanted our future generation to know about our stories, about our culture, about South Sudan. So we worked on creating oral histories to document the stories of the girls. And then also to just work on producing a film that we are still working on. And I just showed the trailer. So we are working on that project as well. I forgot to let you know about the trailer.
Do you know when it will be completed?
We are hoping next year it will be completed, but we don't know. We are crossing our fingers. We are also short in funds for people to come and do the editing. We have the materials, but we are working on like the editing right now. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much again, Micklina. Thank you all for coming. I do want to thank our sponsors once again, Flatirons Bank, Tebow Properties, the Hotel Boulderado, Hazel's, and of course, Micklina's family for our wonderful food. Thank you so much, Mark. Boy, you are so accomplished and have contributed so much to the natural products and organic industry, and we thank you for that and for bringing it and keeping it in Boulder.